Okay. So closers. The way that coaching comp sales calls will work, and I will preface this, Danielle, you're going to be like kind of last priority in terms of booking because I don't want you to feel confused of this different process. So you're likely not going to have, my goal is to honestly not have you really have any of these just because timing wise, I just don't think it's going to be like the best. But if we do need you like spillover wise, we might. So it's not going to be insanely different, but I just don't want you to feel like confused being thrown into something very different. So Natalie and Michelle, you guys are equal priority, and then I'm going to have a good bit of open availability too. So we're going to try to get most of them in for us three. But these coaching and sales calls are going to happen starting on, I would say more so 7/23. Monday is the 22nd. That's gonna be when we're reaching out to these people. The calls probably won't start getting booked for the next day. So starting on 7/23 and probably last about 1 to 2 weeks. These calls are gonna be 45-minute slots instead of 60 because they should be hypothetically a lot easier to close. So something I do need you guys to do is create a separate Calendly that allows 45-minute slots. It's not just changing your current one because we still do need to have your current one open for when regular conversations are coming through, but having a different coaching comp Calendly. So I'll get to that. But we'll need to set those up. Things just for you guys to know on your end, these are all one call closes. There's not going to be having had a consult prior. DMers are going to be booking these themselves directly to you. And then just like they do for like the rare times we have one call closes, like they will create the group message between my account and you and send the call homework in there. Actually, sorry, there's not going to be call homework. So keep that in mind as well. There's no call homework. There's no, like financial DQing, whatever. They're just going to create the group message. So there's a touch point for you to confirm the calls and do whatever, we need to in that time. So I'll get rid of that, not send call homework. So you'll just this is where you guys will be looking at the coaching comp apps for, and I'll give you guys access to or you have access within the type form, but that's basically going to be like what you would go off of for the call if you want any prior information. And then because there's no console, so I'm not going to have it be giving you like a coach assignment prior to the call. This is going to be your judgment to assign them a coach based on personality, all that stuff, who you think they fit well with, and available spots. So just to show you guys what I'm going to do is, and I'll go over this coaching comp deal pricing in a second, but over here, you're going to see this little board here, which we will keep updated. I'll go in before the week starts and write everybody's amount of open spots. And then on your end, if you guys can help me, like when you do, like if you close someone and you give them to Nicole, just decrease this number by 1 and put like a 1 here. And then like, obviously if you book another one, like this would increase to 2 gotten this week and decrease this, whatever the number this is here. Just so we can keep track, because like most client coaches are pretty like getting towards their capacity. So we have room for all the clients we'll take from coaching comp. It just, they need to like be spread out accordingly to coaches. And then the most really a coach can handle is like maybe 6 onboardings in a week. So once we kind of get to like 6 here, that would be like when that coach is going to be capped for that week at least. So that'll just be something to keep in mind to keep track of there. Any questions on that? And then okay, and then getting into what the coaching comp deal actually is. So what we're going to do is you basically can sell it, like all the people that you're going to be talking to are being told that they won a partial scholarship. And actually, I'm going to show you the exact message that they will be getting from me, the DMers, so you kind of know what they've been told. Okay, so they'll be reached out to on Instagram and saying, thank you so much for taking the time to apply for our free coaching giveaway. We ended up having so many awesome apps that we decided to pick a few extra mini winners to receive partial scholarships too, and you're one of them. So that said, congrats and thanks so much for sharing why you want to work with us. So we want to go ahead and get you this opportunity. Let's hop on a Zoom call. It'll take about 45 minutes. We'll see what we can do about getting you kickstarted on the partial coaching scholarship. So it's very emphasizing that like it's a partial coaching scholarship. They were a mini winner. It's not saying it's free. But it's also not really sharing exactly what it is, right? So just keep that in mind when you're going into these calls. Now, what it is going to be is it's $500 off any full coaching weekly package, not including 3 months. That is not part of it, so you don't even need to tell people that we have a 3-month option. It is, the 6, 9, or 12. This is what they end up being with the $500 off. So payment plan total. This is what it breaks down the monthly rate to for these. And then if they do want to pay in full, they do get an additional $100 off. This is $600 off, which like on the 6-month package is insane. Like that's 2 months free. It's basically paying for less than 4 months for 6 months. So it's a really good deal. This is a way better deal than we did for the last coaching. So it's solid. So you can really hype that up. In fact, I really went back and forth of like, do I want to do this? Like I was like, should I do 400? But I was just like, I might as well just full send. So yeah, it's really big. And then as we did this last year too, as a complete like last ditch. Oh, you went, oh yeah, I did. And now you know the secret that I reached out to everybody. But yeah, so as a very last ditch effort, you can basically tell them you're doing them a favor and be like, I'm not supposed to do this, but we do have like a whatever you think is better fit full biweekly or nutrition focus weekly. I can give you $250 off of one of those packages. So this is another like big like another option, but try to really try to get this first because while we have spots, we're going to be limited. And I'd obviously much rather get most people in on full weekly than this. So, but I'm giving you guys the power to utilize this if you want, and obviously better than not getting a sale at all. So, that's going to be the deal. Does anybody have any questions on the deal? Okay. The last thing I'll add is, we were not strict about this last year. We will be strict about this year. Please, and leverage this is decisions. Obviously, we want to get a decision on the call, but if we are just not able to do that, if you're going through all those decisions to get the coaching combo offer must be made you must sign up within 48 hours of having your call, or we're done with the scholarship offer. Okay, so they have a call on Monday, they must sign up by Wednesday, or not happening. Cool. Now, last thing is obviously this is going to make the call a little bit different. The scripting of the call. So I do just want to go over that a little bit. And then Natalie did this when we did this last year. So I'm going to have her chime in with anything she doesn't agree with that I have in here, or like how she did it, or just any other tips. But basically the way I kind of envision this being, and because transparently, I don't remember I think I might have only taken one or two. So transparently, I haven't really taken a sales call with the coaching comp. So Natalie's going to be more of an expertise to talk about it. But the way I envision this going is the opener being more so of like, oh my God, hello, congratulations on being a partial winner. Your application is awesome. We're so excited. We're going to go over here in a minute what a partial winner means. But first, I just want to make sure this is definitely the right fit. Does that sound good? And then you'll get into the discovery section. So you're still going to have this normal like rapport building section, really getting to their pain points, etc. And you can say like, I'm really like, what inspired you to apply? Tell me more about why you want this opportunity, and the same kind of things that you would go through, like what are their goals, challenges. I would say you're going to keep this section a little bit shorter, maybe instead of the 20, 25 minutes that sometimes it can be on the sales calls, make it like 10, 15 maybe max. Because again, it's a 45-minute call. So you're going to go through that, but get the information that you need to be able to obviously like dig in, objection handle, etc. Then you're going to have the call presentation the same way you typically would, slideshow, all of that. And then after that, you'll kind of do your typical buy-in, ask if they have any questions, ask if they feel like this is going to help reach their goal, if they feel like it's going to be a good fit. Then what's going to be different is the price pitch. So again, the way I kind of envision it being, or how I would probably do it, is like, again, congrats on being a partial winner. And after I was talking further, like, I know that this is going to be a great fit. I'm super excited to offer you the partial scholarship. So for being a partial winner, you're going to get $500 off any of our customized full coaching packages. Now for you, I do think the best time commitment would be blah, 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 because blah, blah, blah. Typically the 9-month package is blank, but with the $500 off, it comes out to only this per month. How's that sound? And then kind of letting them answer there. And then you'll typically do what you would do to, close that sale. How I usually pitch on like regular sales calls is once we get the commitment of the months, actually, and I would say for one thing I would do is obviously here is I would say, how does that get the buy-in on the time commitment first? How does that timeline sound to you? And then you would be like, great, okay, typically that is blah, blah. But the way that I typically would do it is I'm like, okay, awesome, the 6 months. So for that, we have two options. It's either blah, blah, blah on a payment plan or blah, blah, blah paid in full. What would be best for you? But here, because you're also saying the $500 off, like that's just a lot of numbers. So that's why I would say stick with like pitching the payment plan, saying here's what it is, the $500 off. It's only this per month. How's that sound? And then you can get their buy-in. And then after that, you can be like, awesome, cool. Actually, while we're here, one other thing, if you want to pay in full, you do get another $100 off. How's that sound? You can just kind of come back to the pay in full. That's how I would do it. So it's not like so many numbers and overwhelmed with options. And then like, obviously if they give pushback, that's when you can either work backwards for maybe a lower time commitment, figure out like what the true objection is. Of course, if you have to bring them down to the 250 off for biweekly or nutrition focus weekly, it's there. So that's where I'll stop. But now I want to also like take the floor to Natalie and see how did you do it? How do you feel like you were successful with it last year, Natalie?
Really the only thing that was different from my recollection is that I just assumed that everyone I was talking to was going to buy, which I do anyways, but I think it's a different in like the way that I normally open my calls. And I think that Danielle was kind of doing this as well. Is like, okay, these calls are super laid back, we're going to figure out what your goals are. In this case, it's like, well, okay, cool. What actually motivated you to apply for the free coaching? Like why, they're going to tell you why they think that they were deserving of that. And that just, I don't know, that's really all the information that you need. And then just say, I'm really excited to be able to share with you like what coaching actually entails, and also share with you like what you actually like what you want, and then just proceed with call as normal. It wasn't really that much different. The only
Mm-hmm.
difference is just the energy at the beginning, like the intro, the opener is just congrats, you're here to take advantage of this amazing deal.
Yeah. Yes.
I
Cool.
have,
Is it,
sorry,
go ahead, Dana.
I have some insight too, since I was like on the receiving end, which I think could be helpful.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Natalie did my call, but for Michelle, I think it could be helpful. What made it really special for me was like, I don't usually win anything. So like winning something, first of all, was like so cool. And it was like something I really wanted to do. Like, my decision, I feel like the time I followed you to like the time that I like signed up for coaching, like I just happened to like be in that coaching comp like section, but like that really solidified. Like I was like, oh my God, like what are the chance? Like, like it was just such a cool
And now
thing.
all the magic runes, and she's like, everyone.
No, it's not, because like I really did need it. Like
Yeah.
it just like was happenstance, but I really did need it. And I even continued after that. Like I
Yeah.
was with you. I'm like continuing with you guys. But I think just like getting them in, and I think that, like really hyping them up on like day one. And this is such a great opportunity for them to really take the discount, because they might not get like this discount, and really saying like the 48 hours, like,
Yeah.
we're not gonna like have this, and we don't do this. And I think Natalie did say that. She's like, we don't do like sales or discounts
Yeah.
usually. Like it's a really rare occurrence. So I think like those things, saying those things will really help too, because that's kind of what made me really buy in, was like the rarity, the fact that I won, and then like the fact that like my pain was like so great at the time, like that, like I really needed this. And I think you can like, I mean, I feel like I was such an easy sell, but like I feel you can really kind of gauge like how they respond to those things, and then kind of go from there. So that's
Yeah,
cool.
for sure. And those things aren't false. Like we don't like the only ever other thing we ever do is Black Friday. And this is a better deal than Black Friday. $500 off these packages is much. First of all, like it's $500 off of the same time plan. Black Friday is like you just get additional free months. So like maybe it's even the same like value, but it's actually not the same value. It's still not as good, but it's like you're not getting a discount, right? So this is the biggest sale we have ever done. So you can definitely phrase it that way. And yeah, thank you for sharing that. Natalie, is there anything else? Like, how would you pitch it? Like, is this kind of how you would do that?
I think so. So yeah, because I think sometimes between like the 9 and 12 and discounts, you're going to get a ton of people who will not be able to make a decision because you're just overwhelming them with a bunch of
Mhm.
numbers. So I feel like the way that I pitch is the exact same. It's like, yeah, so normally it's this, given like the full number without the painful, but with the $500 off, it works out to this or this if you're doing monthly. Like just give them a binary option, because it's going to be a way easier. And
Yeah.
most of the time, people tell you like, yeah, that works out to be better.
What's your typically or sorry, you might have been about to say this, but what's your typical like finisher? Because I like for me, whenever I'm like I pitch the painful and the payment plan typically, so I'm like which works better, and I like assume the sale and I'm asking the thing. But here, because we're only doing like the payment plan, I was just like, how does that sound? I don't know if I love that. What's kind of your how do you turn it back to them to ask for the sale?
The way I always, always, always say, like, it's this price with a discount, or this price if you're doing monthly payments, it's whatever makes the most amount of sense for you financially. That's always what I say. And they always tell me, like, I think what would work better for me is doing monthly. That's why I get a lot of like monthly. But I know for a fact that the way that Michelle pitches is she always tells them you do get a discount. Most of our clients, she says, most of our clients just put it on a credit card. That way they can just pay it off as they choose, as opposed to having like with the same monthly payment every single month. That's how Michelle gets a lot of pay in fulls. It just doesn't feel natural to me to pitch that way. But that I was telling Danielle, is like Michelle gets so many pay in fulls, and that's literally how she pitches. Because I've asked her, I'm like, what is your secret? And that's what she says. So maybe
Okay,
worth trying.
but on this one, I guess I'm saying is the difference because I think, unless I'm misunderstanding, you agreed that you wouldn't give the pay in full discount and the monthly like all in this because it's like a lot going on. So that's what I'm saying
Yeah.
is like that's that same way that we would typically ask for the sale. Like we can't really do in this one because you haven't talked about the discount yet. Does that make sense what I'm asking? Like,
Yeah, so I think if I'm remembering correctly, I would tell them how much I would still do like normally it's this much, which works out to be monthly, but with your discount, if you're still doing monthly payments, it works out to be this much monthly. So usually now they can see, okay, normally it's $350
right,
a month, I'm getting it for $294. So they can, like, you know what I mean? So I usually
right,
still mostly just assume that it's going to be a monthly payment plan.
right. But then I'm saying like, what is your like word track then to ask them for this? Like, you see what I'm saying? Like usually I'm like, which is better for you? That's how I flip it back to them. But we don't have the two options. So I'm saying like, how do you flip that? Like, in here I have like, how's that sound? I don't know if we like that.
I don't know that I actually even asked that. I just tell them how much
Yeah,
it works to be monthly, and then
I remember her saying like, so with the $500 off, you get so it comes out to this pay in full or this monthly, and then she kind of just left it open, and then
So
I
you
was like,
gave, so yeah, but that's different because you gave, like you're saying, you gave the painful option then.
yeah, and I paid in full. So
yeah, Danielle did pay in full. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I just tell them like it works out to be that much monthly, and they usually say like, okay, cool. And then I just go, yeah. So how does that feel good? Like, does that make more sense? Because you do get a discount too if you pay for it up front. And then they usually end up going with just the monthly anyways.
Okay. Okay. I don't know if we really got a clear thing here.
I don't think I've ever like asked. Like I usually just tell them like what it works out
Okay.
to be monthly after the discount. And I just assume they just say, okay, that sounds good.
Okay. And you just kind of like wait for them to talk.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, and I think ultimately I'm not gonna like sit and try to figure it out too much because you guys are all gonna find your own way that like feels right to you. So I won't put too much pressure on that. This is just what I wrote out. This is probably I guess what I would do again because um I think I would wait to do the $100 off paying full just because like it's a lot of numbers, but maybe you guys find a good word track to do it. So just find whatever is like authentic to you in that regard. So yeah, does anybody have
or
any questions?
instead of like putting an additional $100 off, we could say like, or if you wanted to pay in full, we actually give you an extra discount on top of that. Like, so it's not
Or it's
numbers, but
just yeah, I mean, I think it's the same thing. Like then they're still gonna ask the number, and it's just like more. It's nothing. It's just the decisions. It's too many. It's too many things in one thing. Like you have to keep it so simple. But look at this and like think about how you would say it. Like play it in your head. And we can talk about this more next week because we still have next week's meeting before these sales calls happen. But I don't want to keep you guys long, and I know Nick is probably like this is irrelevant to me. But does anybody have any questions about this so far? Okay, cool. What I need from you, Danielle, Natalie, and then Michelle when she gets back is to make a 45-minute Calendly. And if you guys can do that ASAP and send me that link so I can get it on the DMers sheets, that'd be awesome.
Just sent you mine. I sent you mine. I made it
Oh,
like
you
two
already
days ago.
sent it? Oh my God. Did you send it to me already? You're so on
I
top
sent
of
it
it.
in. I know. I
All
was like,
right,
I know
good.
she's going to ask for this, so
Wow,
I.
crazy.
Mhm.
Natalie's on top of it. I was trying to think if there's anything else. I think Nick, you can hop off here. I feel like sorry, I'm taking up so much of your I know it's 10, but appreciate you coming on here. The one other thing, bye Nick, that I want to just go over quick is so will you still have regular calls during this time? Potentially. The 7:15 to 7:19 will likely be slower for kind of the same reason that I'm talking to Nick. DMers will not be booking consults that week, but you could still have like some lingering calls. You know, if we book a call, like let's look at the calendar here. Let's say we book a call like I have a consult tomorrow and I book you a sales call for here, like you might have some during this week. You're probably not going to have many like end of this week and like early this week because we're not going to be having consults these days. Does that make sense? But then hopefully we're starting coaching comp calls right here. So it should only be a couple days of like fewer. But take this slow time to hit up follow-ups, send old follow-ups the coaching comp link. Like we probably have them on a sheet somewhere where the DMers are reaching out, but it doesn't hurt to hear from two people that they wanted to apply, right? So send people a coaching comp link, try to close old follow-ups, like make lemonade, what we say. And then after 7/19, you will have obviously coaching comp calls will start this week, but you also may still be getting booked regular calls because ads are still going to be coming through. Regular conversations are still going to be happening after this week, and jammers are going to go back to booking regular calls. So you might have a mixture of both coaching comp and regular calls. So how will you know? This is the last thing, and then I'll let you guys go. How will you know if they're a coaching comp offer or a regular? On the sales board, you'll scroll all the way over to the right here. There is a little coaching comp column, and it will be marked yes or no. Or it might not be marked no, but it'll definitely be marked yes. And if it's not marked yes, then it's not a coaching comp call. So that is really all that you need to know there.
Awesome.
All right, cool. Awesome, guys. Well, send me those links, and then we'll touch base about this all again next week to make sure we're good to go. But let's close as many regular clients as we can next week because then it's going to get a little bit slow. So let's do it. And we're slated to actually have one of our best like top line months if we can keep things rolling here. So
let's go.
All right. Bye, team. Have a great day.